Leveling up in Anime Dimensions is very easy, as the dimensions are easy to play through. However, as someone who is new to the game, you may not know of some of the tips and tricks that will help you level up faster. But don't worry, Uncle Salty has your back, because in this video, I will be teaching you 2 methods of leveling up super quickly in Anime Dimensions. Before we get into the method-specific tips, I do want to say that you should be AFK grinding and using all available codes, no matter what method you use. These 2 things will automatically give you an edge over other players, since not everyone does these. And also, getting the VIP Game Pass does require Roblox, but it does give a slight experience boost. So you can do that if you want, but it's not game-changing. Got it? Good. Let's move on. Starting off, we have the solo method. This method involves only one player, that player being you, obviously, and it involves you playing through the entire game by yourself. Obviously, this method allows for you to join similarly leveled players and play through dimensions with them, but for this method, let's imagine that you cannot find anyone that is the same level as you. So here's tip number 1. When progressing through dimensions solo, do not play hardcore. In Anime Dimensions, the hardcore modifier for dimensions changes the dimension run significantly. Enemies have more HP, the players take more damage, and you only have 3 lives. That is, if you have 3 characters equipped. So if you die 3 times in a hardcore run, you're done, son! While that extra item is super handy, the only thing you really need from Dimensions is experience. Which, might I add, you get that regardless, even just by killing enemies regularly. Solo progression tip number 2. Play all the game modes. If you're new to Anime Dimensions, then this tip will be just a little bit useless to you, since some of the modes have level requirements. But just trust me on this. It's important, I swear. Each game mode gives you different items, cards, and currencies that can all buff your stats and make you stronger. But you have to give them some effort. Some raids can even give you new characters to play as, so keep your eyes open for those. The modes you're going to want to play the most are Dimensions, obviously, Boss Raid, Speed Raid, Time Challenge, and Infinite Mode. These 4 modes are the most readily available modes. Infinite and Time Challenge are available at any time, but you can only play the Speed Raid and the Boss Raid once every hour. Oh, and obviously Dimensions are available whenever, but you knew that. The Boss Raid can give you Boss Raid tokens, Boss Rush tickets, gems, cards, accessories, and characters, while the Speed Raid can give you raid tokens, gems, and trait tokens. As for Infinite and Time Challenge, Infinite is similar to the Boss Raid, minus the characters, and Time Challenge only gives you cards. All of these modes can give you some good items, so save them whenever you get them. Also, if you get Boss Rush tickets, use them on the Boss Rush mode. The earlier you get the characters from there, the better. Seriously, a 0.02% drop rate on every single the characters. Good freaking luck. Also, are you enjoying the video? If that's the case, then make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Also, make sure to like the video as well, as that'll help the video out a ton. But anyways, let's move on. Solo progression tip number 3. Prioritize saving gold. Gold is an important currency in Anime Dimensions, and it can help you to get stronger. In the game, gold is used to upgrade cards and give cards more damage and health, and also unlock substats. That is, if the card's rarity is uncommon or above. The reason why I say to prioritize saving gold instead of don't spend it at all is because you're going to want to save your gold for when you reach max level. There is one caveat to that though. If you're genuinely struggling in a dimension, then try to get stronger cards first. For example, legendary/mythic cards. If you're still struggling, then try to get your hands on an accessory. If you're still struggling, then try to get a better pet. Finally, if you've tried all those tips and you're still struggling, then upgrade your cards, which I would only upgrade epic cards and above. Gold is a bit tedious to get in the late game, so saving it up as much as possible is a good idea. But don't be afraid to level up your cards for the sake of getting to a higher level. Remember, progress is priority number 1. All of you solo players now know how to level up quickly without much issue. If you're playing every mode when it's available and you're playing on non-hardcore, then you should be leveling up quickly. But next, I'm going to talk about about another method that involves a high-level friend. If you have a high-level friend and they are bored / looking for something to do, then this method of leveling up is definitely something to try out, since you can hit max level in anime dimensions in less than 3 hours. At least as of right now, since the max level dimension right now is Fate Night. Anyways, be aware, however, by doing this method, you will put yourself at a bit of a disadvantage, as you'll be missing a bunch of the characters and accessories and stat boosts that the solo levelers will probably have. Just throwing that out there. However, if you are one of the lucky few that is able to do this method of leveling up, then congratulations. This is going to be a breeze for you. But here are a few tips that you and your buddy should know before you start. Speed leveling tip number 1, speed run. While you can do the dimension, and you may be tempted to just play the dimension for the heck of it, remember, this method of leveling is on a little bit of a time crunch due to limited time on your boosts, which you should have boosts because you put in all the codes, right? Because of that, mitigating dead time is ideal and will get you to max level faster. Also, dead time is the time spent in between runs that could be used for getting more experience, but you probably knew what dead time was. Speed leveling tip number 2, exploit the weekends. In anime dimensions, weekends are your friend. Well, at least when it comes to earning experience. Weekends introduce a double experience drop rate event, which doubles all experience drops. For instance, if you're in the demon dimension and you gain 20% experience from a single demon dimension run without the weekend boost, you get 40% experience from that same run instead with the weekend boost. At least that's how I think it is. Oh, also, the weekend boosts stack with other experience boosts, so take advantage of them. Speed leveling tip number 3, use fast characters. In anime dimensions, there are a bunch of characters that have extra dashes and speed ability. Characters like Kokushibo, Ryuko, Sungjin Woo, and Yu-Gi-Oh are all characters that have secondary dashes that make them great candidates for speedrunning in dimensions, which will cut down the amount of time spent in runs. However, if you are the lower level, don't worry about it. In fact, you could probably just leech if it's cool with the other player. But if you're the higher level player, then you're going to want to use fast characters. As of this video being made, Sungjin Woo is the meta dimension main. So if you use him, you're gonna be schmoovin'. Now that you know how to level up super quickly in anime dimensions, let's talk about the boss rush characters, since knowing which mode these characters are good at is important. So make sure to watch this video.